Has social media ruined society? Over the past decade, social media has become a ubiquitous part of our lives, with over 3.6 billion people using platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. While social media has brought us many benefits, such as increased connectivity, entertainment, and business opportunities, there are also many downsides that cannot be ignored. In this video, we'll examine the negative effects of social media on society and explore whether social media has ruined our way of life. Let's start by examining how social media has impacted our mental health. Research has shown that social media can have negative effects on our self-esteem, mood, and mental health. For example, studies have found that people who use social media excessively are more likely to experience anxiety, depression, and loneliness. Social media can also lead to feelings of envy and social comparison, as we constantly compare our lives to the curated and often unrealistic images and posts we see online. In some cases, social media can even contribute to the development of eating disorders and body dysmorphia, as people try to conform to the idealized body images that are promoted on these platforms. Therefore, it's clear that social media can have a significant impact on our mental health and well-being. We should even consider how social media has impacted our attention spans and ability to focus. With the constant stream of notifications, messages, and updates on social media, it's easy to get distracted and lose focus on tasks at hand. Research has shown that social media can lead to a decrease in productivity, as well as a decline in the ability to concentrate and retain information. This can have significant implications for our work and education, as well as our overall cognitive function. It's important to be mindful of our social media use and prioritize our attention and focus on important tasks. Another area where social media has had a negative impact is on our ability to communicate effectively with one another. While social media has made it easier than ever to connect with people around the world, it has also made us more disconnected from those closest to us. Instead of having face-to-face conversations or phone calls, we often rely on text messages, DMs, and emojis to communicate. This can lead to misunderstandings, misinterpretations, and a lack of genuine connection with others. Additionally, social media has given rise to cancel culture and online shaming, where people are publicly criticized and ostracized for their opinions or actions. This has created a culture of fear and censorship, where people are afraid to speak their minds and express their true feelings for fear of being attacked or canceled. One of the most significant impacts of social media on society has been the spread of fake news and misinformation. Social media platforms have become breeding grounds for conspiracy theories, fake news, and propaganda, which can have far-reaching and harmful consequences. For example, misinformation about COVID-19 vaccines has led to vaccine hesitancy and a slower than desired vaccination rate. Misinformation about politics has led to division, polarization, and a breakdown of trust in institutions. The problem is exacerbated by the algorithms that social media platforms use to promote engagement and increase ad revenue, which often prioritize sensational, controversial, or emotionally charged content over accurate and informative content. Finally, social media has contributed to the erosion of our privacy and security. Social media platforms collect vast amounts of personal data from their users, which can be sold to third-party advertisers or used for targeted advertising. This has raised concerns about data privacy and security, as well as the potential for social media platforms to be used for malicious purposes, such as election interference or cyberbullying. Additionally, social media has made it easier for cybercriminals to steal personal information, spread malware, and carry out other types of online attacks. Despite the negative impacts of social media on society, there are still ways that we can use these platforms for good. For example, social media can be used to raise awareness about important issues and promote social change. Social media campaigns have been successful in raising funds for charity, promoting environmental causes, and bringing attention to human rights violations. Social media can also be a powerful tool for education and learning, as it provides access to a wealth of information and resources. Furthermore, social media can be used to connect people with similar interests and hobbies, fostering a sense of community and belonging. It's worth noting that social media has also transformed the way we consume news and information. In the past, people relied on traditional news outlets like newspapers, TV, and radio to stay informed about current events. However, with the rise of social media, people can now get their news from a variety of sources, including citizen journalists, bloggers, and influencers. While this has increased access to diverse perspectives and viewpoints, it has also led to the spread of misinformation and fake news, as we mentioned earlier. Therefore, it's essential that we take steps to verify the credibility of the sources we use for news and information, and not rely solely on social media for our news consumption. Another area where social media has had a significant impact is on our political discourse. Social media has given a voice to people who were previously marginalized or silenced, allowing them to participate in political discussions and mobilize for social change. However, social media has also contributed to political polarization and division, as people tend to seek out and consume content that reinforces their existing beliefs and biases. This has led to echo chambers and filter bubbles, where people are only exposed to information that confirms their worldview and are less likely to engage with opposing viewpoints. As a result, social media has made it harder to have constructive and productive political conversations, which are essential for democracy and social progress. Finally, it's important to acknowledge that social media has had a disproportionate impact on certain groups, particularly young people and marginalized communities. Young people in particular are vulnerable to the negative effects of social media on their mental health and self-esteem, as they are still developing their sense of identity and self-worth. Additionally, marginalized communities, such as people of color, LGBTQ+ individuals, and women often face harassment, bullying, and discrimination on social media. This can contribute to feelings of isolation, fear, and anxiety, and can have long-lasting effects on their mental health and well-being. To mitigate the negative effects of social media, it's essential that we develop healthy habits and boundaries around our social media use. This can include limiting the amount of time we spend on social media, taking breaks from social media, and being mindful of the content we consume and share. It's also important to recognize the difference between real life and social media, and not to compare our lives to the idealized images and posts we see online. Additionally, we can take steps to protect our privacy and security online, such as using strong passwords, enabling two-factor authentication, and being cautious about the personal information we share on social media. Social media has brought both positive and negative impacts on society. While it has connected us in ways that were previously impossible, it has also contributed to the erosion of our mental health, communication skills, privacy, and security. However, by being mindful of our social media use and taking steps to mitigate its negative effects, we can still enjoy the benefits of social media while ensuring our well-being and safety. It's also important to recognize that social media has had a disproportionate impact on certain groups, and to work towards creating a more inclusive and equitable online space for everyone.